It's the April and Tomeeka Show.
Happy Sunday, guys. Today is the day. Our special guest is, we know her as Imani, Miss Imani, but you guys know her as astrobae / the Hood Healer / Miss Soul Collective herself. What else do they call you,
The
Imani?
dancery, the everything, the collective, the
You got it.
First of all, Imani, hello. Nice to meet you. Finally.
Hello, Miss April.
Hello. When I found out about you about a year ago, now I can't put my phone down because it's like when Imani speaks, everyone listens, you know? And I'd be texting to me because she'd be like, I know, girl, I already know. I'd be like, she's on.
I can't keep up. I know, like, if I need to just send a text, hey, girl, you good? Like, I'm just more concerned with her well-being more than anything.
No.
I've received
And I so appreciate it.
I received all I need from Miss Imani, so the rest is icing on the cake. So
yes. Tomeeka's always like, what's she saying? I'm like, girl, I can't regurgitate this. I was like, you need to be on. It is so good. But you gave us so much advice for 2020 where, you know, I didn't even know I needed you in my life. And you came right when I needed you. And I listened to everything you said. Tomeeka be cracking up. I done bought me a transistor radio.
Praise God.
That crank up for my phone.
Yes.
I got my water. As much as I love the beach, I did not get in the water.
Praise God.
Everything you said, and then every drowning, me and Tomeeka were like, oh my God, another drowning. And I was like, all I gotta do is listen to the Hood Healer. Like for me, I thought it was just, they're not listening.
She's always saying, she says stay out the water. I'm like, they get the memo.
They didn't get the memo. So it was just a long, hard summer, fall, and winter in this pandemic.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, your predictions were so good. And I just listened. And you know what? You take it with a grain of salt. Don't go and put 1,000 bottles of water in your house. You were just saying, in case, have your propane tank. I got my propane tank. Have everything just in case. And I'm ready no matter what. And I think people, us in California, should always have that, right?
Yes.
And we don't, you know, so you open my eyes. I got a bunch of stuff. My boys that are 19 and 21, they know you. They like, if they come in my room, they go, oh my God, she's listening to the, because they know I ain't listening to shit they say. And I'm like, what? I only get her for like an hour a day. Like what, you know? So I just want to thank you. Because I feel like so many times, like today hurt my heart. Like I feel your pain sometimes. And I just want you to find peace, you know, with all this stuff that you can feel and you can predict and know. I feel like you just want some genuine people around you. So that's my prayer for you. And I don't even know you because you give so much to us. And I feel like your friendships are sometimes compromised because of the gift.
Yes.
And I said, you know, I don't even know what that's like. I think about it sometimes. I don't know what that feels like. But I love when you're on vacation and you're doing stuff to make you happy. And I'm like, yes, she's doing something for her because I feel like some people that you could meet and once they know about the gift, you know, I think it's kind of just natural. Can you tell me what's going to happen? Can you tell? And you just want a friend. You like, girl, I just want to drink and hang out and have fun.
Hello.
So I don't know how you balance. So that's my question. My one question is, I almost feel like you had all your good, and I know you've been through a lot, but I wish that you had a good core 10 girlfriends that you knew since you were like 18 and you are like ride and die, you know, or die. Y'all are getting married, you know, going to get married, have children, and you don't have to worry about them because they've known from the beginning. It's like not having money, like these ballers and stuff. They get money. Of course, you can get a girl when you got the money, but who was it? Who was at UPS? You know, so it's almost that syndrome. So I pray that you're able to find that. But I want to know moving forward, how are you going to manage that part of your life?
It's definitely a challenge because there's not that many people like me.
Mhm.
So I get the excitement and the curiosity and the interest.
Mhm.
And it's been challenging now the more popular I get and everything that comes with that.
Mhm.
But I'm really grateful for about 2 good homegirls
Good.
that keep me two, okay, that keep me grounded. Um, but it is definitely a challenge. I try to just, it's like a humbling thing because, then again, there really are not that many people like me, so I get it. I
Right.
get it. It just can be annoying at times, but what, it's
No.
the cards that I've been dealt. But I am thankful for my solid 2. I'm thankful for my partner who keeps me grounded and humble and balanced. And I'm thankful for that.
Right. That's a blessing
Yeah.
that you found a mate, a significant other that,
Praise God.
you know.
AKA Pooh.
Okay.
Yes. Pooh.
Hey Pooh.
Got it,
Pooh,
Pooh.
my boo.
Love Pooh. I'm like, what we
Hey,
doing
Pooh.
today with Pooh?
So
Pooh
I
is
have
outside sculpting. He's an artist, so he's always doing something.
I know. I think. Oh, does he do tattoos?
He does. That's one of his mediums. He paints, and tattoos is his primary bread and butter, but he
Me and
does it
Tamika
all.
should get a tattoo. You want a tattoo, Tamika?
You guys should get a tattoo.
I want one, so I want another
Who
one.
would love to do a tattoo?
like getting them. Aries, y'all like pain. I'm good. Kids. Brichet's trying to get me to get the grandkids. I'm like, no, I don't know how many you're gonna have, and I don't know how many they're gonna have, and that's not start that. But anyway, Imani,
Yes.
I remember when I met you, which was I don't even know how long ago, but it seems like at least
A
5
little
years.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah. My question to you, because you read me so well, was simply, how do you know? How old are you? How did you get this gift? Like, I had questions about the person behind the gift.
Mhm.
So that's my question to you today. Tell us about how you found out that you were intuitive.
So interestingly, I always knew, but it was expressed in different ways. So as a child, I didn't have a filter. As a child, I think it was very strong. And instead of visions, I more so saw spirits. And because I didn't have the articulation and the communication at that time, my parents thought I was schizophrenic. They didn't know what was going on with me. So when you're dealing with what you think may be mental illness, there's a lot of negative stigma around it. And so when I realized that expressing my gift resulted in me getting tested and having to go to clinics and, being treated different, I stopped.
You suppressed it.
I suppressed it. And even when I felt things, I would keep it to myself. My parents were, I would say they were afraid of it. They were not supportive, even though there were so many people in the community at that point. Growing up, there were so many people in the community, I feel like, that would have supported it. They just didn't know how to handle it. So it really wasn't until my father's passing that it became kind of uncontrollable again. And so I had to go through really teaching myself and developing a relationship with spirit and really like talking to spirit. Like, I don't want to see people, but I could see visions, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So that happened around maybe 24. And I feel like when I just surrendered into it, it just was full throttle. And honestly, I didn't really realize how good I was until I started sharing with people.
Mm-hmm. So you would
So,
say, one, hey, I see this happening, and they'd be like, what? And then it would
yeah,
happen.
so I would say something that may have already happened, and they'd be like, what? How do you know that?
Okay.
Right.
And so that just started to affirm me. But again, I didn't have the confidence to name my price and make it a business and all the things. So I was at Simply Wholesome doing
I
readings
was
at
there
by love
for
donation.
the love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
That's
like,
cute.
girl, wait a minute.
Is that how you met her?
Yeah, she was so on point. And April, who's was one of the business partners, who's your auntie,
Mm-hmm.
it was really close to our family. And I said, April, I'm here to see the hood healer. She said, that's my niece. Yes. I said, she good? She said, no, she's amazing. It's not that I needed April to confirm, because I had already got it confirmed in a group that I was in. And that's how I came to her. And honey,
That was it.
history. And I literally was like, wow, when you think about that little girl, Imani, and all that she would have had to go through to get to here, you know, that is deep. Because I think you was 28, or you had to be younger now that I think about it, maybe 28-ish, about 5 years ago.
I'm 31 now. So yeah, around 27,
Yeah.
26.
I was like, now at my age,
That's
I'm almost double her age. How she know all of these things? Like, so I was like, wait a minute, how do you? Because you couldn't have went to school for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just trying to figure out, how is she so knowledgeable in all of this in her short, like, she's not been on earth this long, you know, but she's been around a long damn time, according to spirit.
Yeah.
Yes. And the spirit realm, I feel a lot older than I am physically.
Clearly.
Very mature with it. I don't listen to many mediums online. I start, like, I really want to, but no one gives me the vibes that you give me. So I just stick to what I know. There's only one other girl you bring on that I really like, and I don't know her name. She seems like Irani. I don't know.
Maybe Lolly, the occult.
That she does these like movements, and she has an accent, but I really like her.
Yes, Lolly's really good.
Yeah, I like Lolly. Something about her makes me feel good inside, so I do follow her. But how did you get to New York? Like, because I know you always talk about New York, and I was like, I wonder how she got from LA to New York.
So so I was doing free readings at Simply Wholesome.
Right.
And I did that for just about a year straight.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where I was running a business within a business. It started to just get too hectic at Simply Wholesome. My uncle was like, you got to take this shit somewhere else.
Right.
This is becoming a fire hazard. This line, it just was too much. And so I always wanted to go to New York, just on my personal journey. I always wanted to go to New York. And I was just at a space where I was just ready to take a risk and hit the road. I had met my personal goals in LA. Really, it was just, for me to get a little space, which I did, and make a little money, which I did. And so I felt like, well, if I could do this here, then I could do this in New York. Mm-hmm. And so I packed my little bag and I went, and I ended up staying for 3 years. Wow. 2 years. Yeah. And that was amazing for me. I had such a beautiful time in New York and learned so much about myself and so much about spirit. And I think that's really where I found my spiritual confidence, and was really able to see myself on a more professional level. And I feel like truly, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yes, you can.
And so I made my way. I set up shop in Bed-Stuy. I was very well received. And I just ended up staying.
Wow. Yeah, because you talk about New York more than anything.
Yes. I feel like New York was just where it was just popping at. The gifts was really, New York is where I had, I think, most of my predictions for 2020. It was 2019. So I feel like New York, I was really focused. And that in that apartment is where I was channeling all of these visions about the pandemic and about politics and health and education and so much of what's happening now. So it was a great space for me. And I think it was also because I was isolated and even though I was in the city and socializing and things, I still was there very focused.
Right.
No distraction.
Yes, it was important for me to leave home and not have those distractions of home and the lack of support, because even though I had started to prove myself, it's still like the people you grow up with, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, that you know how
to catch on.
Right. It's like you got to go somewhere else and then come back.
Right. Nice.
So where will you land permanently? Because I know that you've made some predictions about get out of LA, get out of New York. Like, what do you
I missed that.
I don't know.
Good answer.
I don't know. I thought about leaving the country, but I gotta be where my people are.
Okay.
So I really don't know. And spirit doesn't really allow me to see things for myself. I feel like I'll still be in California, but out of LA.
Okay.
That's another thing. California is so big. Like I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. So I know Bed-Stuy. I met my husband on Cumberland. So Brooklyn is very near and dear to my heart. Many years I wanted to go back, but he didn't want to go back. So now I'm at another stage in our life. I'm sick of LA. For me, I'm a city girl. I'm a Brooklyn girl. I grew up riding the train. Like this is new for me. And maybe because we landed in the valley, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if I would have landed in LA, Inglewood, somewhere where I could have seen more people and had more culture, because that's where I come from. So now I've been here 20 something years in the valley. I have to go. I know I'm talking to Mika's ears off, like I'm ready to move. I still want to keep a place here, but I want to go somewhere else. So I'm trying to figure that out as well. And I do want to leave the country. I want to take a chance, but I'm more adventurous than my husband. I'm an Aries. I'm ready to go. Kids are grown. We are grown. We done everything we're supposed to do. So I'm just ready. So I just kind of wish he would meet me. He's a Sagittarius. So
really?
Yeah.
Sagittarius usually are up for the travel. No.
It's like 12 or 13 kids.
Yeah, he grew up in DC with 13 siblings.
Oh wow.
So he needs to
so yeah, he might need that stability. Right. He's like, yeah.
Right. He needs it and I don't, because I'm an only child. So we're trying to meet in the middle. I've had everything, with my grandparents. I was the only one. I had vacation. We had a vacation home. I had everything. He had nothing. So I had to kind of teach him in this marriage. No, once a year, we got to go on vacation, babe. He didn't, he didn't know that. Once a year, we got to do this, or, we need another home. And, not that he's not a smart, brilliant person. He just never grew up the way I did. I was one person. They were trying to figure out how they were going to eat. So that coming together and getting married We didn't realize that until, you know, after we were married, unfortunately. Like, we were so different in our upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's been a challenge. So when she asked, where do you want to go? I'm like, I think I want to go to Georgia. It may, you know, I'm looking at the prices compared to here. We can get so much more. But the rest of
Yes.
the country, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
You know, California really spoils you.
Correct.
I live in the valley too,
Mhm.
but for me, it's a good distance from the city.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Honestly, I wish I could be in New York with LA weather.
Yes,
I just
Say
can't
that.
do the weather.
yes. That's
Yeah,
me.
He loves New York. He said, I can't do that cold.
I
I
can't do the cold. And in retrospect, I don't know how I did it.
I don't know either. You did it for a long time.
Yes, I don't know how I did it. The
Yeah.
cold, the rain, no, I don't want that. I can't do that again.
Right.
Nope.
So it definitely will be somewhere warm. So I've noticed that lately you've been talking a lot about relationships. Does that have anything to do with the fact that you're in a loving relationship? You're feeling like
I am.
how this shit really works now? Like,
Woo! Yes. My man, I have learned so much and humbled myself so much and unlearned so
so
much. I thought I knew, but I had no idea. I'm so thankful to him for teaching me and being patient with me.
Mm.
And it's just very recently, I feel like, you know, this relationship is truly a orchestration of God, because I thought I wanted something different for myself. And Pooh is very much a family man, very creative, very outdoorsy, very just in the moment, embracing the moment. And I thought I wanted to have more of a power couple unit and work together and have businesses together. And I just realized that I was trying to cultivate something with that didn't really sustain and really wasn't about balance and really wasn't about happiness. It was just about productivity.
yeah.
And I've come to a space now where I realize that I don't want my legacy to be all about work.
Right.
And that has really been affirmed through this relationship. And so we've been through so many ebbs and flows. And like all relationships, the pandemic was rough. Okay.
Mhm.
We have never spent, whew, I packed up my shit about a few times. Okay. We have never spent this much isolated time together, even though he's a little bit, his lifestyle is a little bit I would say more balanced than mine. He still travels a lot for work and does, there's a lot of different creative things, but through the pandemic, girl, we wasn't going nowhere. We was in this house together. And honestly, thank God, because we were able to work through so many things. And I just want to encourage people to work through the things. I would describe myself as a runner. Okay. Yes. I would definitely describe myself as a runner. And when I feel uncomfortable or if it's not going my way, I'm ready to pack my shit up and be on to the lip.
Would you raise your
Okay.
hand, Tomeeka?
That's who I used to be. So I know it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've just like, okay, this is not working for me.
Right.
I'm not even going to have this conversation, and no. And he's just like, girl.
You still mad?
Right.
Over it.
Get over it. And I'm like, what do you mean get over it? So this, praise God for Phil. Okay, praise God. And so yeah, I just really want to affirm the girlfriends and let them know that this thing is about legacy.
Yeah.
And it's about legacy, and it's really about learning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about creating the family dynamic we never had. And that takes time, that takes effort, that takes work.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's bad days.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. And so I've gotten out of comparison mode and more of compassion. And just stopped looking at other people's relationships and what I thought the dynamic was supposed to be, and really pray. Let me tell you, the spiritual life has just upped to a whole nother level, because we've had to really pray together and get on the same page spiritually.
Right.
And I that has been, since I like to talk about things that I go through.
Right.
And so since this has been such a heavy topic in my life, that's just what I've been speaking to the collective about. And I know that in the readings lately, the topic of divorce comes up so much, and separation comes up so much. And when we get to the bottom of things, it's just real misunderstandings and lack of willingness.
Right.
And it's sad because there's still a lot of love there.
Mm-hmm.
But the willingness is not. And so I just really try to affirm the girlfriends and have this conversation more, because not a lot of people are having it.
Right.
And we don't have enough examples of unions.
Yeah.
That
committed
unions, healthy committed unions. And
yes.
I feel like what we think is healthy is not.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we go through the low period, we think like, okay, I gotta abandon ship because this is not healthy. When this is the dynamic of a real relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been really speaking, because it's healing for me. I would say that I'm the wounded healer archetype. So the more that I speak about things, the more that yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're so right. I think this younger generation, it's too much social media. Relationships
too much
are already hard to maneuver, but now that we have this platform, it's even harder, because you think, oh, he don't love me, he didn't get me a Birkin bag. Oh, he don't love me, we not flying private. And all of those relationships do not work. There aren't enough examples of mom and dad, so people can see it's not the things. You know what I mean?
It's not the things. And working in the industry,
it's tough.
I realize that those things are usually masks for other things.
Say that.
And it's like, girl, you don't know what type of secrets you got to keep for that Birkin bag.
Hello? And you don't know what she went through to get it. Hello?
And you don't know what she went through to get it. And you might not want that private jet seat. Okay? Because that ride is bumpy.
Hello? And you probably not even built for it. Hello?
And hello.
Because I'm not. Sorry.
No.
I'm not.
No.
My
Yeah.
worth is more valuable than a damn bag. And
Thank you.
the self-love of it all, because that's what this, they're all lacking, you know, because if you can be
It's a
bought
major lacking.
for a bag, like, come on. But I
But
guess that's
the
what,
value, you know,
yeah.
you're not doing that, you're not making it or whatever. And we got to
Yeah.
living for the gram. Like you got to live and not live for the gram.
Yeah.
If more people did that, you know, it's nice to show you're on vacation or you've earned something. I get it. There's nothing wrong with it. But when it's braggadocious and it leads these other 12 to 16-year-old girls to strive to find a guy that can do those things, it comes with a lot of consequences.
It
Because
does.
he will not be the only one. He's just giving you that so you can be over here because he done gave one over there the same thing. And it's so much heartache. And I feel bad. I don't know what we're going to do for our community to get back on track or to get on track, because just like you said, there's not enough positive reinforcement.
No.
Shows.
And I think the positive reinforcement, the positive examples are not on social media.
Thank you.
Or unfortunately in the media period.
No, they're
Absolutely.
private. They're living their life, and we don't know what's going on behind their closed doors. And that's what's keeping their peace.
Exactly. Peace is priceless, and it's not all over the place. I think what you really touched on mostly, and I hope that people get this conversation with you and just let me tell you what I loved about you when I first met you. You said God so many times throughout the reading. You said spirit, but you also said God. And to anybody who only knows God, or to anybody who only knows spirit, you're making sure you cover all bases. And first, I have a connection with God and spirit, or the creator, whatever you want to call them. Like, before I see this, it's because of my divine connection. And I think if we all get back to our divinity, because we're all intuitive, you know?
Yes.
And the problem I think that this generation has is that they're so busy looking to you for the answer that they're not going to source
for themselves. Yes.
Wake up, like you said, give God some attention first before you get on that Instagram, before you go look to see if the hood healer is live today, you know?
Hello.
And it's just that simple. And it's like all of your self-worth, your self-love, everything that you're looking for is already in you.
Yes.
You know,
God is yes. I think that's why I took a step back from social media. I deleted all my lives except for my most recent. And I moved to OnlyFans for some other reasons. But I started to recognize that I was enabling people and doing other people's work, and I was feeling that energetically and feeling the pressure of having to guide people, and that's not my job. You know, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to be a living expression of God's love, and sometimes God's love is tough. And so I've decided to just pull back so that people can lean into themselves more. And I moved to OnlyFans, which was, it took me a long time to come to that. But what I like about OnlyFans is that it is a more serious, because it's paid content. The collective that follows there is a lot more serious. And now the things that I talk about are more educational. So I've just kind of left people to navigate on their own, which eventually you have to do.
Yes.
And and for me, it's not about popularity. It wasn't about clout. It wasn't about those things. And when it started to feel like that, it made the decision to step back a lot easier.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
especially now because all of those predictions, a couple of years ago, it was still little doubts because things had not come to fruition. So it was like, this girl, she's interesting. Some shit that she says seems legit, but I don't know yet. Now it's like
Right. It came true. They listened.
everything is, yeah. So there's more of a pressure and more fanatical energy.
Right.
Right.
I want to say, I know like maybe 3 weeks ago or something, you gave a recipe about, steaming. And I
Mhm.
say Instagram took it down. So I feel like you have all these people following you. You're not verified. Do you feel like there is some type of conspiracy with Instagram
Absolutely.
or something? Because you got more followers than the average. I've seen people with 10,000 verified. And I'm like, why won't they give her badge? Why don't they give her her due? Because she is making an impact and she has the followers. I don't understand that. And I don't feel like you can go over an hour.
No,
Well,
I
That's
can't.
that's
insane.
by design. That's by design.
Yeah.
Okay, look at who she's speaking to.
That's what
Right.
it is.
Right.
Oh,
What do you
That's
think?
what it is. And the respiratory steam is something that I posted last year in the beginning of the pandemic.
You did.
And the respiratory steam is something that has been healing the hood and keeping us healthy. And it does not go. One thing that I realized is that everything is owned by the government
hello.
now.
Period.
Okay. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of these
Platforms.
yes, all of these platforms are government owned, government operated.
Right.
Then if you go even deeper, the entertainment industry is owned by the government.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these entertainers work for the government,
Deep.
And when you think about that, it's like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna verify my black ass. I don't think that's gonna happen. But what I have spoken about is natural remedy and holistic healing and holistic wellness, and the fact that the cures are in nature, and that does not align with the CDC. That does not align with the pharmaceutical industry. That does not in alignment with the vaccine. That's not in alignment with the propaganda. That's not in alignment with any of the things, despite what we know to be true, despite our historical experience with vaccine, despite our historical experience with the pharmaceutical industry, despite our historical experience with the medical industry. As people of color, I think it is very much a agenda to keep us where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And it is very scary, and it's very sad that our freedom of speech is being snatched away, and these platforms are so censored now. But
Yes.
I definitely don't feel like it's a coincidence or by mistake or I'm being overlooked at all. Instagram is very aware of who I am.
Absolutely.
And
so it's purposeful.
it's absolutely purposeful.
Okay.
At one point, I used to be able to go on live and just be live forever. It never stopped.
Right.
Now it's exactly 45 minutes, and I'm shadow banned. So if you don't if you're not really tapped in, you could miss it. My notifications and things don't come up. And it is what it is, you know?
Right.
But,
Let me ask you,
uh-huh.
since we're on this political, quote unquote, government subject, who's the president?
It's the April and Tomeeka show.